All right, Faith. Faith, where are you from originally?
Bakersfield, but I was raised in Shafter. It's a little bit outside of Bakersfield.
Okay. And tell me about your family.
Well, I was really raised by my grandma and my grandpa, but my parents, my dad, I don't know. I don't know who my dad is really. But
Where was your mom?
My mom was around, but she was so codependent on drugs, and my stepdad, like, it's terrible. I swear I'll never be like them. Like, they put me through some shit that parents should never do just for drugs. It was fucked up. But
What kind of things were they doing?
well, my stepdad, he sold me to his friends for drugs when I was young. So, like, they would do whatever they wanted to me. And my stepdad was very abusive. Like, he would punch me in the face. He broke my ribs one time, kicking him in. And I got taken away when I was, like, 13 years old. And I was in foster care. I was bounced from house to house to house because, like, I don't know how to explain it. I was just a hard kid to take care of, I guess. I don't know. I was just me, and I wouldn't allow nobody to change me, you know? And they didn't like that, so. But I got pregnant when I was 15 years old in foster care. And I was a dependent of the state, and my son wasn't a dependent of the state. So they wanted him to be a dependent of the state. So they tried so much to get him from me. Like, they framed me. They put a shot bottle in my son's diaper bag when I was at school. And when I came home, like, they made, like, a huge deal about it and shit. And I told them, like, you can even test me. I don't have anything in my blood or anything. And they tested me, and they were like, yeah, it's not right because I didn't come up for anything, you know? And they ended up taking me out of that foster home, putting me into a group home. And I did a lot better when I was in that group home because, like, it was a group home for teen moms and pregnant women. Pregnant girls. Shit, I'm out of breath. Sorry.
Take a breath. Take it slow.
Sorry. It's just, like, it's crazy. But, yeah.
You're okay telling the story?
Yeah, it's a little hard, but it's kind of a lot. But, yeah, my grandparents ended up getting murdered when I was 18 years old. And all I knew was taking care of my grandparents and my siblings and my son.
You were staying with your grandparents then?
Yeah. I didn't know anything other than taking care of them, you know? Like,
How old were they?
my grandma was, like, she was about to be 80. My grandpa was, like, 97, I think.
They were murdered at the same time?
Not exactly. They were murdered different times because they were separated, my aunt and uncle. They separated them from each other after they took them from my custody because I was taking care of them, and I was doing a great job doing that. But my mom was doing drugs again, and when she started doing drugs again, she was stressing them out. And I let them make that decision to go to my aunt and uncle. I didn't know that they would end up being murdered because of it. Like,
Who murdered them?
my aunt and uncle. And they got away with it because they were already in hospice. And when you're in hospice, they don't do an autopsy because they already know you're gonna die. You know?
It's okay.
My grandma was so beautiful. She was such a beautiful person.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah. I have a little brother and a little sister, and I have an older brother. Sorry. I miss them so much. Okay, I'm ready.
And you have a son or a daughter? Or?
I have a son. His name's Ronnie Thomas.
And you're still with him?
No. I'm homeless on the streets. I wouldn't have him on the streets with me like that, you know? He's with his grandparents from his dad's side. Because his dad's in the Air Force right now. But, no, I stay in contact with him as much as I can. But it's hard when I don't have a phone, you know? Like, literally, it's always stolen all the time. It's so frustrating. And expensive. You know?
How did you end up on the streets?
Well, because my grandparents were murdered. I lived with them, you know, and when they were murdered, my aunt and uncle, they sold the house out from under me.
And you have no way to support yourself.
No, I didn't know how to do anything by myself, you know? I was only 18. And I'm 25 now, and I've still been on the streets since then because it's just been so hard. Like, honestly, it feels like things are against me a lot. Because once I start to feel like I'm finally, like, comfortable, it's like my world gets ripped out from under me again.
And drugs have been a part of your life?
Yeah, but they just recently became a part of my life.
Living on the streets will do that to you.
Yeah. It's hard not to, you know, like when you've always got to be awake, you know, you can't really sleep often. And that's how I started doing meth, because I wanted to stay awake, because when I would go to sleep, I would sleep like a rock, and things would happen to me in my sleep, and I wouldn't know it. Or I'd wake up in the middle of it, and it really bothered me, so I just started trying to stay awake as long as I could.
Crystal meth is the drug for that.
Yeah, but I started doing fentanyl because I got hurt. I wrecked an electric bike, and I messed up my sciatic nerve. My sciatic nerve is in between my spinal vertebrae because I wrecked a bike really hard. It was really bad. And they put me on fentanyl in the hospital, and they discharged me early because, like, I guess I had, like, a cyst in my ovary, and it ruptured when I crashed. It ruptured in my ovary, and if I didn't go to the hospital when I did, I would have went septic because the toxic pus inside my ovary, like, would have caused, like, my body to start shutting down or something. I don't know. But they kept me a lot longer than I thought I was going to be in there, you know? And the whole time they had me on fentanyl. I cried when they told me that nothing else was going to help because they tried every other drug in the hospital and nothing was helping to take the pain away. And so they gave me fentanyl, and I was like, fine, because I had to sign a consent to do fentanyl. And they, like, a couple weeks after they did the surgery to drain my ovary and remove the cyst, they kicked me out of the hospital because I got one of my friends to bring me some drugs in the hospital, and my neighbor told on me. What a bitch. But they didn't wean me off of fentanyl. They suggested Tylenol to help with the withdrawals, and I didn't know, like, how bad it was gonna be, and it hit me like a freight train, you know, like it was terrible. Like, I never thought I would experience anything like that. I felt like an old lady. Honestly, like, I couldn't walk. I couldn't even hold my own, like bowels, you know, like, it was bad. So my boyfriend at the time, he used to run around. He used to bring the drugs home for us, you know. So he decided to try to get some fentanyl for me to help me because nothing else was helping. And it helped. And I've been on it ever since.
So you're getting fentanyl on the street now?
Yeah. I like it. It helps. It's the only thing that helps with the pain.
You're smoking it or injecting it?
I smoke it. I'm terrified of injecting it. That's terrifying.
Yeah. And where do you stay? Where are you living?
Actually, I was staying in a tent across the street from where I met your...
Josh?
Yeah, where I met LP.
LP?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I'm in a little tiny tent. And I came out of it this morning because I was, like, dying. I was dying of a heat stroke, I swear to God. So I crawled out of my tent, and I was walking down the street, and I found some people who had some fentanyl, and I asked them if I can have a hit, and I was sitting down, and LP, like, rode his bike. He was riding his bike, and he, like, stopped his bike and, like, asked me if I wanted to be part of the interview. And I was, like, kind of, like, hesitant at first because, like, I've had a lot of people ask me if I want to do interviews, but, like, they're all fake, you know, like. So I was, like, a little hesitant about it, but then, like, I was like, all right, fuck it, you know. Might as well check it out, see what it's like, you know.
Here you are.
Here I am.
How are you making money on the street?
I'm an artist. I paint skateboards for people's kids and stuff. But actually the way I make money is I I fit in clothing donation bins. And I take the clothes out of the clothing donation bin and I sell them to like these little mom and pop shops here in Venice. And they buy the clothes. Like there's a shop called Fifth Street. It's called Fifth Street. And it's like the Buffalo Exchange. And they buy the clothes from me.
Secondhand clothing.
Yeah. They're all pretty good quality too. So like clothes, shoes, like jewelry, accessories, anything that's like in good quality that they can resell, they buy for me. That's how I make my money. But yeah. It's barely enough to survive, you know?
And the fentanyl addiction is probably hurting your chances of just getting away and getting your life together for your son.
Probably. Most definitely. I'm terrified of getting clean by myself, though. It's hard. It can kill me.
Have you tried going to rehab or anything like that?
My insurance, I don't know what's going on with my insurance. So they won't accept me until I get insurance that's like legit. Cause like I don't even have welfare or anything like that. Cause like I don't know my social, cause I was in foster care. They didn't allow me to have like any like access to like my own documents and stuff. So when I aged out of foster care, I didn't have any of my documents like I was supposed to, you know? And that really is kicking me in the ass right now. I didn't think it was gonna, you know? I didn't realize how fucking frustrating it'd be. But yeah. Once I can get that straightened out, I can go to a detox and get clean so I can go back to my son.
What's your biggest regret, Faith?
Dropping out of high school. Because I think if I would have continued going to high school and graduated, I probably would have been able to get a good job instead of just taking care of my grandparents, you know? So that I wouldn't have been doing on the streets when they died.
What are you afraid of now? What are you worried about?
I'm afraid of dying on the streets. Because if I do, I will not be remembered. No one would know.
And your mom is... Where's your mom now?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her in years. She was my anchor. She was what was keeping me stuck there. And I was terrified of being stuck there because I knew if I was going to be stuck there, I was going to end up being just like her. And I can't let my son see me like that, you know? My son is my world. I still have partial custody of my son. I wrote a letter to the judge before I took him to his grandparents. And I told him that I was unable to give my son what he needed. I was unable to give him a home and guaranteed food and shelter, you know? So I wrote a letter to the judge saying that I was going to leave my son with his grandparents for a little while until I can get my life together. And because I did that, I still have partial custody of my son, as long as I stay in contact with him at least like every 7 months or so. Because I haven't abandoned him. You know? But it's so hard. It's hard to talk to him because every time I talk to him, he cries for me. He cries for me because he wants me to come back and get him. Because he's 9 years old.
Do you have friends?
I don't have friends. I just have people that I know.
From the streets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What would you say is your greatest strength?
My stubbornness.
You're hard-headed.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. My hard head won't allow me to do anything I don't want to do. Even if I have to suffer. It's so annoying.
How has being out in the streets changed you think?
It's humbled me. It's definitely made me more grateful. I think it's making me a better person. Before I became homeless, I used to judge people. I never knew how their lives could have been, or like why, or anything like that. I assumed they were all just drug addicts, you know? That didn't care about their lives or anything like that. But being on the streets has proven that it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. Because I'm constantly getting judged all the time for being homeless. People think I'm homeless because of drugs or because of anything but other than the truth, you know? No one would ever just look at me and just be like, oh, her grandparents were murdered. That's why she's on the streets, you know? That's why, like, when people get to know me, they always tell me, like, that they're surprised and grateful. Because, like, I may be young, but I'm really wise for being as young as I am. Because I've experienced a lot of stuff out here. A lot of stuff. But at the end of it, I don't let it take my love from me, you know? I have love for everybody, even the people who hurt me. My grandma always told me that people who do you wrong need more love in their life. That's why they're not as loving, you know? So I pray for them more than I pray for people that are nice to me, you know? But I pray for everybody. I'm not religious or anything. I'm just very spiritual.
You still have hope for your future?
Of course. I have faith. I'm still so young. It's not like I'm like 40 years old and going through this, you know?
That's right.
If I was 40 years old, then I probably I would kill myself, honestly. Because, like, it's not worth fighting for after that. But I still have enough time. I just forget that a lot.
If you had your life to live over again, what would you have done differently?
I think I wouldn't have been so rebellious as a teenager. You know, I think I probably would have been more, like, straight-laced and actually, like, hopeful for the future instead of, like, the moment, you know? Because at least I would have been able to prepare for what was going to happen next, you know? Because I'm not a future teller. I can't tell the future, but I could have prepared for it. That's what I wish I would have done different.
How were you first introduced to drugs?
My mom, actually. My mom introduced me to drugs first. This tattoo on my forearm right here was the night that I did meth with my mom the first time. I remember I was so angry at her. I was so mad because I wanted her to beat my ass, you know? I wanted her to do something different than what she did. She was, like, excited to have somebody to smoke drugs with, and I wanted her to be angry at me. I wanted her to actually, like, punish me. But she didn't. So this was my way of punishing her. I know it's crappy looking, but it's, like, it's 2 buttons, a needle and thread. And it's supposed to represent Coraline, the movie. Because my little brother and sister, they used to call me their other mother. Because I raised them. I was the mother figure in their life, you know? So they called me their other mother. And that used to piss my mom off. So that's why I did this tattoo, to piss her off. And I put it right here so she can see it. I want to fix it. I want to do it better. But yeah, that's it for right now.
And Faith, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in all of this?
That love conquers all. No matter how much shit I go through, no one will ever take my love from me. drugs. That's why I'm alive.
All right. Faith, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I wish you lots of luck. Hope you get back to your son.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.